On behalf of the family, a tribute to our dearly loved and loving mum and family matriarch, who always lit up a room with her presence. Thelma Evelyn Mary Parsonson was born in Masterton to Annetta and Walter Saunders. They were known as Nana and Pa to their 7 grandchildren. Mum was the elder daughter, and Nola being her younger sister. Mum had a strong faith in the Lord, a loving family who adored her, a lifelong friendships, many from her school days. When Mum was young, the family enjoyed many trips away, visiting the Saunders family farm in South Canterbury and Nana and Pa's holiday homes. When reminiscing about her childhood, a little story related when she went to the Methodist church, her mother told her to put the money into the collection plate. Being a little cheeky at times, she decided it was too much to give, so she took out some change. She was very popular and always had many friends. One day, she was noticed by a friend of her father's, chatting to boys standing on the street corner. This was frowned upon in those days. Her father told her not to talk to friends, especially boys, on the street corner, but to bring them home. Days later, she brought 5 boys home. Mum excelled at school, passing her matriculation exams and being appointed head prefect at Wairarapa College. She was especially good at sport, holding an athletics record for more than 30 years. It was eventually broken by an Olympic athlete who used a starting block and running shoes. Mum ran bare feet. Her father was a true pioneer, selling the latest photographic technology. We're fortunate to have movies of family and sporting events during her early life and colour film of Mum and Dad's wedding. Mum met Dad, Hartley, at a dance after he returned from serving in the Pacific in World War II. Mum was dancing with a partner in an excuse me dance, and Dad tapped the partner on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me," then said to Mum, "Your slipper's showing." She thought he was really cheeky. After the dance, Mum was escorted to a partner's truck, but before they left, Dad opened the door and asked Mum to move over. She then slid in beside her on the bench seat. No seatbelts in those days. Dad was very keen to get to know Mum and even offered to help her milk the cows. 6 weeks later, they were engaged. Mum and Dad were married in 1947, a match made in heaven, you would say. The wedding gift from Mum's parents was a section on which they built their first house. Theirs was an enduring and loving partnership of 52 years, and parenting Rex, Bevan and me. Our childhood was very happy as she encouraged our many interests. Mum was a calming influence, a great listener and mentor. Mum worked for the bank and several businesses over her career, the latter role as wages clerk. She was proficient at maths and everyone appreciated her accuracy, especially on payday. To illustrate how efficient she was, one day she bought groceries at the Huntsbury Food Centre in Christchurch. While the owner, Lou, was calculating the total, Mum had already added it up in her head. "You can have a job if you like." Mum's great faith in the Lord has been an inspiration to us and many others. We attended the Opawa Baptist Church, where Mum was a Bible class teacher. She was a great entertainer too. I remember at the Bible class members coming to the supper one night after a 14k return trek up Rapaki Track. Everyone was thirsty and starving. After all the food on the table was devoured, out came a chocolate cake to share, so no one went home hungry. Mum and Dad retired to Blenheim in 1978. There they were involved in the local Baptist church and ran a fellowship meeting for retired folk. Mum also completed a year's Bible study course. They also enjoyed caravan holidays at Tahunanui, where they met other holiday friends every year. Family members were also invited and enjoyed sharing these beach holidays with them. In 1996 they applied for, and in 1997 were invited to attend the Queen and Duke's Golden Wedding Anniversary Garden Party, held at Buckingham Palace. TV and newspaper interviews followed, adding to their excitement. They thoroughly enjoyed the event and meeting and chatting with the Duke, afterwards joining a bus tour around Europe, and then driving around England, Scotland and Wales were also highlights. Mum was very creative. As a member of the Red Cross knitting group, she knitted blankets to be sent for the needy. She also knitted all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren beautiful cardigans and jumpers. I remember one great-granddaughter aged 3 asked Mum, "Would you needle me something too?" Mum obliged and knitted her a beautiful poncho. Mum was always a generous giver and often went without herself, so others were cared for. Following Dad's passing, Mum enjoyed holidays with family in Australia and New Zealand. She loved travel, seeing new sights, tasting delicious cakes and lovely pavlovas, enjoying her cappuccinos. The simple pleasures in life brought Mum much joy. Mum was involved in many church activities here at St Paul's, where she made wonderful friends who were very special to her. We were very blessed to have a dedicated and loving Mum who radiated a warmth and a love for others. She continued to remember all the birthdays of family members and friends, and keeping in touch with many. Her prolific letter writing and phone calls through the years were replaced recently with Skype calls or FaceTime. She enjoyed playing the piano, including her favourite pieces like Chopin's Polonaise and her favourite hymns. A special thank you to Bevan and Sue for all the wonderful care and support they've given Mum. We also appreciate the love and kindness shown to our families from you all. We greatly miss her loving cuddles, cheery voice, heartfelt laugh, and those magic words, "Hello, dearie." We were all blessed to have and enrich our lives and her uplifting spirit. Mum would not want us to be sad about her passing, but we will miss her dearly. A quote that we can apply to Mum's memory: "Whoever is happy will make others happy." Thankfully, we are comforted by the memories we treasure of her long and full life, with the hope and knowledge that she is at peace and rest with the Lord.